I'm gonna before John says something. You guys need to know that I did arm twisting to get John to come and speak twice. You're gonna get him twice this month because he's gonna go out of town for like ever in September, and we'll probably say more as he's exiting this space to go and gallivant through Europe and enjoy your ministry over there. But we're blessed to have John twice in August as my way of saying, well, we're gonna use you up before you leave. I want you leaving here empty.
Thank you.
We love you, brother.
Thank you. At least I'm not walking into some duty like Pete is. I'm such a junior hire. Who had their 30th high school reunion last night? Just me. Just me. Yeah, that was a thing. So that you can hear it in my voice too. I had a lot to say while I was there. So yeah, must be not, and you got to kind of say the title of this the way that we always say it, like must be nice, right? No one's ever heard this. Just you've come on together. Must be nice. Ever felt that? Right? Just thank goodness we have social media so we can say it daily. I wanted to talk to you about some things. I think, Matt, do I have I'm the outline guy. It's fun. Here's where we're headed for you guys that need to know what the road looks like. It's not super helpful, as usual, but inheritances and disappointments, terms and conditions apply, must be nice. And I put it like I spelled it like that on purpose. Fix it, bigger barns, it's a big but. Therefore, and then we're going to do some observations. Not neutral. I'm so happy. I'll have a side of anxiety, please. And watch how the kids do it. Rich toward God. Can you believe it? It's back on the table and no worries. I was preparing for this like my whole life, this message. You know, it just comes from within who I am. But must be nice is a parable about worry. Does anybody struggle with worry or anxiety or stress in their life? And you don't have to answer. We know you do. But I want to share with you a little story about some inheritances and disappointments for me. Some of you know that in 2019, my mom passed away. And then in 2022, my dad got remarried to someone who turned my dad and my dad's siblings against myself, my sister, and my family. It was brutal. She managed to write herself into my parents' trusts before my dad was even married to her. And then in the spring of 2023, my dad passed away while living in a care facility that she had placed him in just a few months after they were married. Since the trust was kind of sealed on my mom's side, and this is all boring stuff, like AB trust kind of stuff, that could not be touched. But she was able to secure all of his and my mom's retirement accounts and his life insurance policy. And my sister and I were devastated. This woman came into his life at the end of his life, stole him from us, took the inheritance that was meant to go to his kids and his grandkids, and then she refused to let us scatter his ashes at sea, per his request even, and she has since changed her name and moved out of the state, and we don't know where she is. It feels unfair. Just saying. It's a disappointment. And it seems lawful and legal for me to pursue some kind of action in order to bring about what I think would be justice in this situation. Go to an authority and have them make it right. So that's just a little bit of my story. I don't want to go into too much detail about it lest I fall into a heap of tears. But it has been a tremendous source of pain in my life and Anna's life. And over the past couple of years, in addition to losing my dad, you just have all this other stuff. It's hard enough just to lose the person, and then let's just throw in a whole bunch of other junk. But can I take you through some of the feelings that I went through? And this is my terms and conditions slide, so this is helpful. Avarice, extreme greed for wealth or material gain. We have no concept of this extreme greed. We just can't. I think I have extreme greed for wealth and material gain. I just wouldn't call it that because around here it's just okay to be greedy. So, jealousy, the state of feeling or showing envy of someone of their achievements and their advantages. Yep, that's kind of the whole underlying feeling of must be nice. And then worry, give way to anxiety or unease, allow one's mind to dwell on difficulty or troubles. And then this idea of trust. This first one is a noun. Trust is assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something. And then trust as a noun, to place confidence in or rely on, or to hope or expect confidently. So those are some of the terms, the feelings that I went through. And I want to take you into our parable for the day. And you have my story, some of these feelings and ideas as a backdrop. And we're going to be in the book of Luke. And so I'll just read it to you. I didn't do the red letters. I just thought blue was kind of a cooler color. So someone in the crowd, so Jesus is teaching, he's with his followers, but there's also people that aren't his followers that are in the crowd. And someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me." It feels familiar. But he said to him, "Friend, who set me to be a judge or arbitrator over you?" It's kind of an interesting question for Jesus to ask. Why does he ask that question? Who made me judge? God? Isn't this sort of how we understand Jesus in our lives? He's the ultimate judge, you know? But I understand this sense of wanting things to be set right, and so you go to someone who you feel like has authority and you say, could you do something here? Who made me? And Jesus asked, well, who made me the judge over you? And he said to them, "Take care, be on your guard against all kinds of greed." And what's interesting, he says this to everybody. He says this to the disciples. He says this to the followers. He says this also to this man. But the guy, if I'm the guy, I'm sitting there, tell that to my brother. Tell that to my dad's widow. But he's saying it to everybody there. Hey, take care, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. And then he goes and says this thing, one's life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. And then he told him a parable. I could use this one too. You get dizzy. The land of a rich man produced abundantly. Sometimes these are hard to follow. You could say your company did, really well in the first quarter, or you could say the fund matured into, I don't know, Ryan's a finance guy. He could give all kinds of great examples of what this might look like, because we don't really live in like an agrarian culture right here. But this guy, his land produces abundantly. There's nothing wrong with that. That just happens from time to time. Things work out. Things go well. What we would call go well, right? They multiply. So he thought to himself, what should I do? For I have no place to store my crops. It's just good. Just to understand, like, what belongs to who. Those are his. Then he said, I'll do this. I'll pull down my barns and build larger ones. And so, again, my finance guy, I should go back to Ryan. I should diversify. I don't know. I'm not a finance guy. But build larger ones. I'll store all my grain and my goods, and I'll say to my soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax. Eat, drink, be merry. And in some ways, you could say, sit back and watch everybody say, must be nice. And in my story, I'm thinking, Jesus, fix this whole thing with my dad's widow and make it right. Divide the inheritance. At least divide it. Right. That seems even lawful. It's lawful. It's lawful for this guy to do everything he's doing. He's not breaking any laws in doing this. It's legal. And so then Jesus tells this story, right? And let's keep going in the story, because there's a big old but. But God said to him, "You fool." That's not cool. I don't know. I just if I'm with you guys and God's calling me a fool, that hurts. This very night your life is being demanded of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will those be? Whose will they be? And we can get around this question, right? Well, I've put it in a trust. Well, that didn't work out for me. But we've our kids are set for life, or whatever it is, so it's going somewhere, don't worry. Or it's going to go to missions. It's going to go to the Samaritan's Purse. It's going to go to, not Samaritans, what were we calling it last week? The man left for dead's purse. And he says, so it is with those who store up treasures for themselves, but are not rich toward God. Now, you could read into this, not rich toward God means they didn't tithe, they didn't leave it in a trust, they didn't put it in the National Christian Fund Foundation so that it makes sure it's going to fund more of the kingdom. You could read it that way. I'd just encourage you not to, but you could. Here's the thing. If I'm honest about my life, I want Jesus to fix it. It's not like it happened to Jesus, it happened to me. And this is, again, back to my thinking, right? I think he's separate. I think he's out there, translucent Jesus that you can only the special people can see, and he's kind of there, arms folded. Yeah, that's a bummer, Ash. Like, wish I could have done something there. But no, I'm learning to train my thinking not to think, train my brain not to think that way. He's not separate. He suffers the loss of it too. I want bigger barns, if I'm honest. I want to know that I have enough, right? And that's just a dangerous word. But then, and we're going to go into the last part of the story, which I think is good. And this is the therefore. So, classic sermon, church stuff. Whenever you see the word therefore, you ask, what is it there for? And so, therefore, because of this story, he says, in a sense, therefore, I tell you, don't worry about your life. So you guys good? He told you don't do it. Don't worry about it. It's so easy just to read right past that. There's got to be a method. There's got to be a plan. There's got to be a way to do that. So I'm here to lay out for you the 12 ways to not worry about your life. No. Anybody got kids in here? Anybody a kid in here? We're all someone's kid. I'm watching Kyle out there. I love it. And his son is climbing on the cornhole set. He has no idea that he's in the sermon right now. His son can climb up there. Kyle's got his hand on him. It's like, why isn't his son worried? Is it because he knows about Kyle's bank account? Is it because he knows anything about, he doesn't know Kyle's middle name. There's so much he doesn't know. But he's okay because there's a relational dynamic at play. It's okay because Kyle's there. He's okay because Kyle's there. We don't think that way. And we're not trained to think that way. We're trained to worry because you're alone. No one's watching out for you. Look out for number one. And Jesus is translucent somewhere and gets involved sometimes. But he might and he might not. Don't worry about your life, what you'll eat, or about your body, what you will wear, for life is more than food, and the body more than clothing. And then he goes through all these things. I love it. Consider the ravens. I never consider the ravens, but he asks me to. They neither sow, I don't sow either, they don't reap, they have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. See, I think we don't believe this. We don't believe that God feeds them. There's just food out there, and they get it if they're smart. There's opportunity out there, and you get it if you're smart. God's not involved here. He's at a distance. That's what I believe, and it's on me to figure it out. Oh, of how much more value are you than the birds? Some of us don't know. And which of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to your span of life? Well, we already know from science that it actually works in the opposite direction. If then you're not able to do so small a thing as that, like add a single hour to your life, then why would you worry about the rest of the stuff? Consider the lilies. I don't do that very often either. Or how they grow. They're not working. They're not spinning. But I tell you, even Solomon, who was considerably one of the wealthiest men in all of history, in all his glory was not clothed like one of these. He clearly didn't have Versace. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you? And we just think he won't. I mean, if we're honest, he won't. It's on, I have to do this. I'm looking at Kyle and his little boy out there. It's like, Kyle's taking care of it. He's got clothes on right now. You of what? Little faith. And do not keep seeking what you're to eat and what you're to drink. And do not keep worrying, for it is the nations of the world. I like that translation, but it's just everybody this is everyone. No one gets an exemption here. But essentially he's saying people who don't know God, people who don't understand the relational dynamic, right? They're seeking after that. They're all seeking after it. And your Father knows that you need them. We're like, I don't know if he does. Instead, seek his kingdom, and these things will be given to you as well. Now, I've said before to myself, we are not an added, given to you as well. Or in some translations, added unto you. These things will be added to you. We live in a take what you can get culture. And particularly around here, we live in a take as much as you can get culture. And that's cool. And the more you get, the more you get to enjoy. And it's working so well. The problem is it's really hard to get out of the stream of the culture here to say, even though I've watched The Social Dilemma, even though I've heard all the different reports on what wealth does to someone, even though the people that I've idolized have taken their own lives out of pain and suffering because they just simply can't do it, the person that I thought I wanted to be them, I don't understand. It's so hard because we're so caught up in it. It can't possibly be true that it would be added. And Jesus is saying, you don't have to worry. And I'm saying, are you sure? I just want to be happy. Do you just want to be happy? Are you? Is it working? Here's the cycle that you often see. You attach yourself to an idea of, that's the thing I want. For me, it's the Lexus GX 550. For all of you wealthy people out there. I can solve that in a second for Esh. That's the thing I want. I'm just giving an example. Navy blue. And you work and work and worry until you get that thing. And then you get it, and it gives you this thrill, this flash of excitement, and all the world has bent to your desires, and for a moment everything is good. For a moment. And then it just comes with the side of anxiety. Like, I got to take up 2 parking spaces now. You know, what if someone opens their door into my car? What if what if? Now everything that I attach myself to as the thing that will bring me happiness, the thing outside of me that I think, if I got that, then I would feel this way. It always comes with a side of anxiety and fear about either losing it or something happening to it. It's under threat now. And so now I need more to cushion, right? It's not unwise. It's just not the kind of thinking that Jesus is inviting us into. So, can we go back to our, what slide is it? Go back to the outline, because I want some observations. First of all, not neutral. Money is not neutral. I know I've had some of these conversations with you guys. This is my thought on it, okay? And some friends of mine that we talk about this. Money is not neutral. It is indiscriminately corrosive. It does not care who you are. It is not neutral. In the same way, self-reliance is not neutral. Your ability to rely on yourself is not a neutral condition. It is constantly eroding your ability to trust. Self-reliance erodes trust. So the more that you're able to, the bigger barns that you have and the more that you have, and even your ability to say, well, I've passed it on to my kids, all you've passed on to them is a corrosive material that erodes their ability to trust. But we call it legacy. We do. We call it legacy. What's your legacy? 6 generations that don't ever have to do anything because I did it all. We worry until we have a 401k till the size of Bill Gates, and then we think, okay, now we're good. And for some reason, we think that this is trusting God. Here's something Jesus says. He says, here's the work I want you to set your mind to. Believing in me. Believe in the one whom he has sent. This is John 6:29. I don't have a slide. It's in my brain. Believe in the one whom he has sent. Your ongoing work is to believe in Jesus, to put your confidence, to rely on a person, a living reality in this world. Instead of doing this, here's how we often get trained to think and live. We work really hard at sustaining ourselves and getting ourselves to a place where we are self-sufficient and self-sustaining. We thank God when we're able to do this. I mean, we're not idiots. We've been coming. We know we got to give thanks. We thank him when we're able to do this. We feel blessed. When it is not working out, we look at God and we try to make sense of it. Because we have our translucent Jesus that's out there somewhere. He's not within us. Maybe God's testing me, and we're trying to read the signs. Maybe I'm supposed to learn something. So we worry until things start moving in the right direction again. And then when they do, we offer gratitude and thanks to God. Kind of like little tip of the cap, hey, thanks for tipping the scales back in my favor. And then when we feel we have enough, and I said beware of that word, when we feel we have enough, gosh, my notes are a mess here, you guys. The concept of enough is elusive, okay? It's a moving target. But when we have enough, we'll say, okay, God, I've taken care of me. Now, what can I do for you? I'm ready. I'm good to go. I'm a big boy. I'm ready for the solid food. I took care of myself. I got big barns. I've squirreled away, enough. I have more money than I have days left. So I'm yours. And Jesus is saying, I wish you would just trust me and not worry to begin with. Well, yeah, but I'm not worried now, and it's all thanks to you. And Jesus is like, I have, in the credits of my life, special thanks to Jesus, without whom none of this work, none of my hard work and stress and anxiety over getting the things that I think I need to make me okay would be possible. Thanks, Jesus. It's in the credits of the film of my life. Thank you, Jesus. Without you, none of my hard work and stress and anxiety, getting the things that I think I need to make my life okay would be possible. The problem is Jesus says, if anyone wants to come after me, the cost is just everything. It's all the stuff. It's the barns, it's the crops, it's everything that you think that you need to make you okay. And I'll give my one example here, and we'll get to closing here. The reality is we don't believe it. We don't trust him. Of all the laws in the Old Testament, there was one command that said, let the land lie fallow after 7 years. Don't harvest. Whatever's left over, give to the poor, but don't harvest. And they never did it once. They never did it once because more is better. And then they lived in exile for every year from that command to the time that they went into exile, as sort of like we interpret as a punishment for you just never even tried it once, so you're out of here. Can you believe it? So when my kids were young and they wanted to go to Chick-fil-A, Sophie, I'm looking at you, the conditions for her to feel confident about going to Chick-fil-A are all relational. None of them are circumstantial. According to the money that's in her bank, which she doesn't have, her inability to drive, or know my middle name. I mean, now you do, but I'm just saying, when you were a child, if it's, Dad, I want to go to Chick-fil-A, well, it's real easy for her because she's with me. So Anna and I we'll drive her there. She might tell me what she wants, but by now I know, so I just get it. She's not going to even oh, Dad, that you would deliver me safely unto my chicken sandwich when I get in the car. This is how we think. We get on the plane and we think, oh, Jesus, because you're out there translucent somewhere, you're not within me. Deliver us safely, from here to Hawaii, wherever you're going. And I'm just thinking, it would be odd if she said that, right? Well, I have no intention of, taking your life on the way to Chick-fil-A. And then when we get there, it isn't, oh, Dad, that you would provide the $3.76 for my chicken sandwich. But that's how we do it. Because we think if we don't ask, he's not going to give it to us. That's how we're taught. Because he's just withholding. He's just out there. He's a jerk. He's separate. And sometimes she gets the food and then, wonder if she'll say thanks. Thanks, Dad. But even that's not required. all of it works because of her acceptance of our relationship. If she doesn't accept the relationship, then everything changes. She may not come back to the house. Why would she? There's no relationship. You go to the house of your father, you go to the house of your mother, where there's a relationship. You don't just, if you're of sound mind, walk into a random home. But she walks into our home because of the relationship. Everything works because of the relationship. If I'm no longer her dad, now she has to figure out, how am I going to get to this Chick-fil-A? I want Chick-fil-A. And that's how we feel. We just feel abandoned. We feel like it's on us. I got to figure this out. I have to work. And Jesus defined what the work was, but we just don't believe him. And the thing is what my pushback is often is, so I just sit there, I don't do anything, he'll take care of all of it? No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about following. If Sophie demands to stay in bed all day for the next week, I'm going to have some issue with that. Because there's a relationship. There's a relationship. Now, I may decide, yeah, you're going to stay in bed for a week, and I'm just going to bring food to you, and we'll put a toilet in there, but I'm going to put that together. It's a following exercise. It's a relational dynamic in which she and I are involved. Everything gets so much more difficult when we don't believe that the relationship is real. And that's what I'm talking about here. That's what I think Jesus is talking about here. This guy's upset because the inheritance didn't work out in his favor. He wants someone in authority to fix it, someone outside to fix it. That's often what I want. And Jesus is saying, beware. Be on your guard against all types of greed. Here's what everyone is going after, and I'm telling you, you don't have to worry about that stuff. You may not get the Lexus GX 550, Esh, but I'm with you. That means he doesn't get it either. So I'm like, Jesus, if you want it, you got to figure that out. Can you put up the quote, Matt? I thought this was a fun one. This is Uncle Screwtape to Wormwood in the Screwtape Letters. Prosperity knits a man to the world. He feels he's finding his place in it, while really it is finding its place in him. We just assume that it's a good thing. But again, self-reliance erodes trust. And Jesus is telling us the work is to trust, is to believe. Put your confidence and rely on that relationship, just like Sophie did in terms of Chick-fil-A. And we don't follow. Is there the last part of the verse? I think there's some more, right? Oh yeah. And then he goes, don't be afraid, little flock. For it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give alms. No way. Not a chance. Who's doing that? I was just with a friend. He said, I was at my friend's surprise party. He had sold his business for $400 million. But something went wrong in the stock market, and it went down to $180 million. It's a big dip. And so he stopped all his giving. I mean, who can live off $180 million? And it's easy for me to chip away at the person that's, the step above me, but am I any different? No. I'm not. I haven't sold my stuff and given it away because I'm not worried. I hold on to it, and I'm doing all the wise things that the world tells me to do, because ultimately the world is preparing for you to be alone and not be in relationship with God. That you are abandoned. That's how the world's set up for you. And that's how you're trained, and it's even got the appearance of wisdom. Sell your possessions, give alms. Nah. Make purses for yourselves that do not wear out, an unfailing treasure in heaven, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, guess what? Your heart's there too. We want to reverse it. I really have a heart for the poor. That's amazing. Where's your treasure? I got a really nice 401k, and I've got a couple of Roth IRAs and the stock market and blah, blah, blah. Now, your treasure could be more than your money, of course, but you could at least look there. It's at least, and again, this is just tell. I'm putting a mirror in front of me and talking to myself here. I'm not here to dig on anyone, because this is as much for me as anyone else. And as easy it is to tear down the guy who has 400 million, it's just as easy to tear down me with 40,000 or whatever it is, and just say, you're just talking about numbers here, Ash. I'm talking about the condition of your heart. Are you worried? The amount doesn't matter. Are you worried? And he's telling me I don't have to worry. It's even good news, you guys. It's really good news. I was watching some quotes from Bob Marley. I'll close with this. He's in this interview about wealth. He says, have you made millions? He's like, or he says, have you made a lot of money? To Bob Marley. And Bob Marley, if you don't know who Bob Marley is, I'm sorry. He's a recording artist. He's passed away. Known for a genre of music called reggae. And he says, what is rich? What is wealthy? He asked the interviewer. He says, well, have you made millions? He says, no. He says, no. And he gets kind of pushed on this again, like, well, no, my wealth is not in material possessions, like having a lot of things, having a lot of money. And then I was thinking about one of the songs that I love of Bob Marley's. You might know it. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is going to be all right. It's almost like scripture. And then he talks about birds. In that. So, we're going to go to a time of communion. And this is an easy, smooth transition segue right here. Communion is a meal. It's a ritual. And in this ritual, we're to remember some things. So we're going to have, there's elements. Did we upgrade the elements, Ryan? It's grapefruit juice again. Cranberry apple. Think of this as a mini meal together. It's important to eat together. So sometimes we just do like a Sunday brunch all together. It's just good to be together. In this meal, we're invited to remember some things, Jesus says. As often as you have this meal together, he says, remember me. This is my body broken for you. This is my blood poured out for you. As often as you do this, remember me. And so we're going to have this meal together. And so I'll invite, how should we do this? What's the easiest way? Should we have a pass? Should we pass it? Go get it? Go get it. All right. I'm going to say a prayer that kind of makes it okay for you to eat it whenever you get it. Kind of like, since we're not at a table, the polite thing is to wait for everybody to sit down, and then you can begin eating. This is going to be more like a tapas bar. We're gonna be moving around and getting some food. And I don't want to make light of this, because this is important. Okay, I don't want to make light of a really important ritual where we remember something really important, which is that He is life itself. God is life itself. Jesus would show up and say things, I am the life. I am, in no uncertain terms, life itself. He'll say things like, unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no life in you. In no uncertain terms, Jesus is saying, I am life itself. And as we take these elements together as a family, we remember that we are invited not to worry, not because of what we have, not because of what we know, not because of what we can do or how big our barns are, but because he is with us. He's not outside of you, he is with you. And that is a comfort beyond circumstance. So I think our friends here are going to play some music. But as you take these elements with each other, remember, he is life. He is with you. And you are invited. Because of that story, he says, therefore, don't worry. Believe, put your confidence in and rely on him, just like Sophie would when we would go to Chick-fil-A. You can trust him. He is trustworthy. He is not separate from you. So God, thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your words through Jesus. I thank you for these friends here that model trust for me. May we continue to inspire each other and encourage each other to trust you, to put our confidence in you, to not be afraid, to not worry. May we be marked by the lack of anxiety in our group, by the lack of fear in our community, by the lack of worry amongst our friends, because you're with us. We have nothing to fear. May we be marked by that and by your love. May we sell and give away, give alms, and do it freely because we're not afraid, because you're with us. And God, forgive me for the times where I lose sight and I put things back on the table. I'd like to hold on to this. I pull things back onto the table and I try to grab them, and it just causes stress and worry, like my dad's inheritance. So forgive me. I'd love to push it back off the table and trust. Whatever it is for my friends here, may they examine what's on their table, and maybe they have the courage and the inspiration to push it off and to give it to you and to find freedom. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Can a couple of you join me around the tables, and we'll just start this little meal together as we are in this time.